all this money, but there's no replays on the Apple TV. There are some handballs you see that you want to see, but they don't show replays.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had this discussion with some people in the league office. Like, you have new directors, you have new kind of production people, and maybe haven't been in the sport as long, and so understanding sort of what those key moments are, coming back to those, getting all those in is still a work in progress. It's their learning the game too and recognizing those scenarios, and I've seen that in other games, not just our games. Just there's a play or an instance that maybe you want to see again, and they haven't picked up on it yet sometimes, and so again, it's all part of a new deal and a new new directors, new things like that. So it'll continue to get to where I think some of us would like it to get to, but it's just a work in progress. So
do you guys have your video, or you can get those and send them over?
Yeah, so we have video analyst who is videoing the games that gives us the specific views that we want. VAR obviously has many different views that they have, so you can also ask from the league to get some different looks at angles and reviews and stuff like that. So there's ways you can get it. It's just not always live or in the broadcast that you see the different things that you want to see.
Do you wish you had an NFL kind of rule where if you see something on the bench and the referee doesn't stop, you could challenge it, throw a flag and challenge it?
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, we challenge it on the sideline with the fourth official. We usually get some feedback as to how they're looking at it. For me, there's just a real catch this year in terms of like the threshold of clear and obvious, because that's subjective in and of itself, right? So I think subjective can be handball. However, I argue that if your arm is far enough away from your body that it hits here and goes away or goes through there, that's no longer in the silhouette. I mean, that can be objective. That doesn't have to be subjective, right? So it would be nice, but again, all of these instances in theory are being looked at behind the scenes. They don't necessarily disrupt the game in the process, but it comes down to, again, the subjectivity of those who are viewing either VAR or on the field as to whether they believe that was a foul or whether they believe that was a handball, and that's still sometimes a subjective and debatable thing, right? If we can make it more objective, like offsides, you're either offsides or you're onside. It's black and white, and some of these others are not as black and white, though for some of us they're more clear and obvious than for others. That's the nature of the beast. So even if we bring them to the attention, there's always it's subjective, right? You may think, but we don't think, and so it's a no-win discussion, but it just becomes a debate, right? Which is all that is. So, anyways, those are in the past, and we're in the present. We are here where we are.
The present.
Sure.
Come to LAFC Sunday. Your thoughts on them, and also the I guess the feel of the locker room.
Yeah, look, in terms of them, obviously they're running a nice confident wave of coming off the end of last season, which gives every team confidence, and then they've hit the ground running in terms of the start of this season, in terms of getting results, both the Champions League. They're getting a lot of games under their belt. They've got a solid rotation. They're healthy, which is key, and again, swagger, confidence, and riding a guy or two who are just having lights out beginnings of seasons can really help. It helps everybody. It's not just him. It helps everybody because, I've seen these guys hitting a shot from the end line and it finds a way to hit off of one of their players and goes in the goal. So but also some really good goals, right, and some really good plays. So they're riding a nice wave of confidence and belief, and so be it. It's a long season. Our job is to focus on us, and in terms of us, again, for us, a little frustration. It came out, I think, in the game where you get a penalty call and you think, okay, we got a break, we have a chance to go ahead. Then they actually take that away from us, and that stirs some emotion again inside of our group. We give away a deflection goal off of a set piece, which again is not the way. If you're going to give up a goal, you'd like to give it up away. The other team makes a really good play and you move on. Just little things that I think got frustrating inside of the group. The 6 minutes of extra time at 3-0 and a man down seemed like an excessive amount of stoppage time. But nevertheless, that inside of that game just created, I think, some unique frustration. For us, the group is, they're confident. They want to win. They want to win a game, and so there's that, that desire and I think natural stress that you would have to want to come out and perform and win. And they know a game like this is a big opportunity to turn a season around in one day and one game too. And so, and these games a lot of times come down to just out-competing the opposition, winning your duels, finishing your opportunities when you get them. Obviously, we've got to manage them, and they have some difference makers who can, with one play, can change the course of a game instantly. And so we need to manage the situation. Our guys can do the same. We haven't been as efficient in that way as they certainly have been, and we need to be more efficient in that capacity. But just making sure that we work together as a group, and we move the ball quickly. We understand how we want to play them. We understand what we think can be where our solutions can be inside of the games and the things that we have to be aware of. And so, our guys are clear about how they want to approach the game and how we want to approach the game, and now it's just execution.
How do you see Javier after the first 35 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, by the time he got onto the game, he wasn't on the field but a few minutes. We give up a penalty. We're down a man, and it becomes more about him getting 35 minutes of just soccer fitness, and it becomes less about how he can overall impact the game, because it's a really difficult circumstance at that point. So I like what I've seen from him in training, both as a leader, as a player, look, at the end of the day, he is our alpha player in our team. And when we miss him, we don't just miss him on the field, we miss his personality in the group. And so it's really nice to have him back. It's brought another level of just, I don't know if you want to say personality inside of our group, but there's Javi, no matter what we're doing, if it's a warm-up and the fitness coaches are putting out a little game at the beginning, he's analyzing and figuring out how to win that game, and he's competing at that. And then he gets everybody on his team in that game competing at that. And it's contagious. So having him back, I think, in the training environment and the Vanney environment just changes. It helps to change just the overall. Has a great impact on our group, and that's what you want out of your leader, your captain, and obviously the guy who's put away 18 plus goals in the last 2 seasons. And so it's certainly helpful. I think for us, he's been sharp on the training field. The game for me was just at that point was a matter of him just getting fitness and getting inside the group and being on the field.
The narrative from the outside right now is doom and gloom. That the fact being that worst start in terms of points, goals, goal difference, wins, but that turmoil in the locker room, just complete mismanagement at all levels. The only way to solve this is to get rid of everyone from below you, including Jovan, Chris, all the way to change of ownership now is getting thrown out there. It's just that this is the lowest point in Galaxy history. That's some of the talk that's out there. I'm just wondering, one, your response to it, and two, it's built off of a poor start, and there's context to that poor start.
Okay, let's back up a second.
Okay.
For me, it's total bullshit. But people can have their opinions. They're allowed to their opinions, and it's noise. And the only thing that we can do as a group that is very close from top to bottom in our organization, from Chris down to every single player, to our academy coaches, to every single player, is we understand it's us against whoever wants to talk shit about us. That's no problem. No problem. We understand where we're at, and we understand where we're going. And we also understand the context of the situation. And you can't take context out of a story and just write a story, because that in itself is bullshit. Right? The context of the situation is we finished the season last year with our heads held high in the stadium against LAFC. It took them till the final play, basically, of the game to get rid of us in a game that we controlled in many ways. And they went on to win a championship. Congratulations to them. Those should say they had a really good team and they won a championship. For us, we're moving in the right direction. 2 years ago when I got here, we went through the first season, changing 16, 17 players, complete overhaul of our roster. And it went down to the final 2 or 3 minutes of the season, of which we were in the playoffs for the entire season until the last 30 seconds, in which I think VAR apologizes, Pro apologizes for a missed call in Kansas City that could have also got us in. Now, in the context of that, there are a lot of plays over the course of the season that we could have made to make that to get that 1 point and make that difference up. But we weren't there. But let's say VAR makes that call, we're into the playoffs that year, okay? And then we take another step forward in the second year to get there. The only difference between where we were last year and where we are now is 3 months, 4 months, and 6 games. That doesn't change the direction and trajectory of an organization. In the context of those months and games, our captain, both 2 DPs have been injured. Our captain that had scored 18 goals has been injured. Our goalkeeper gets injured. We have had to adjust a few players for various reasons, some being family reasons and others. So we have players who are still coming in. Okay, we're managing $1 million fine and no summer window, okay, which none of us asked for in the grand scheme of things. But we're managing a lot of different things in this finite amount of time, and we're trying to fit that into this portion. We go off and we start the season. We haven't been outplayed in every single game we've played. We've played 4 on the road and 2 at home, right? 4 on the road and 2 at home. Not many teams build momentum in MLS with 4 road games and 2 at home. It's difficult to build some momentum in that scenario, right? So outside of that as well, right? Again, getting people in, trying to go. We haven't had one break really in our favor. Not that we're asking for anything that we don't deserve. I don't believe in that. I'll tell you when the other team should have had something. I'll tell you when we should. I'm very, very honest about where we are and what we deserve and don't deserve. We haven't had one break in our favor. And that goes into, that could have been 2 points at home when a Dayon gets called for a goal that we score that's kind of a phantom handball. Whether it's a handball or not, and for me, the referee, but whatever, I don't need to go through all that again. We haven't had one break. We are where we are 6 games in the season. That's part of it. There's been other teams in MLS who have had just as bad of a start and gone on and won a championship in our league. It's just how our league works, right? And so for us, the most important thing is get rid of the noise. Don't care what anybody thinks. Don't care what anybody says. Don't honestly care who shows up in the stadium. We love our fans and we want them to be there and we want them to support us. But for us, what matters is we have to deliver on the field. We have to concentrate on the field in terms of what we're doing, our performances, our execution, and getting wins. That's what we need to focus on every single day and every single time we come out or work together as a group. We have incredible belief inside of our group. We have incredible belief in the direction that we're going. You can ask any of them. You can ask any of us. It's just about momentum. It's about time. It's about execution. It's about getting our group whole. And it's about moving forward and not allowing anything else to disrupt that process from taking place.
Great. Yeah, it's you've had maybe 4 starters who were expected starters who've been starting for you since Jonathan went out. Do you feel like you're still a little bit in preseason mode and you're on the verge of having a first choice team?
Yeah, we're getting there. Look, we've brought in 2 really young and incredibly talented young fullbacks that are integrating into our team. You've seen it from Lucas after just a handful of games, the quality that he brings into the position. Julian is just now joining us and working his way into integrating into our group. We still, in my opinion, we're still going to add 1 to 2 more players before we close out here down the stretch. We're just getting Javi back. We get Douglas back for a few minutes. Unfortunately, and lack of discipline in a moment for him, for sure. Not his only moment, I get it, but lack of discipline is stopped his return back to our group. So again, we are getting to become more whole, not just on the game field, but also in the training environment, right? And integrating players of their caliber, they impact how you play. They impact certain things inside of the game. It's like when you add LeBron back into the Lakers, not saying they are, it impacts everybody a little bit, right? And so some of that takes just a couple games. It takes a few weeks of training. It takes some integration of all of that for guys to settle in. So yes, we're getting close to again, being whole. Like I said, having whole in terms of preparation, all of those things. I have utmost confidence in our group. I have the utmost confidence in the direction and the guys that we're having in and the work that's being done around the organization. What we have to do is block out the noise to the extent that it impacts anyone. Because to me, I don't read anything. I told you guys this. When I hear it, I get annoyed, but I don't read it. And we just block out the noise, and we have to trust the process. We believe in what we're trying to do. We believe in the way we play, and we believe in the guys that we have on this team.
Great. With that great context that you just gave us, when Chris Klein says that if you guys don't make the playoffs, he leaves, do you feel like he's adding pressure to you guys, to the players?
No, look, We're professional athletes at the Los Angeles Galaxy. We understand what pressure is and we understand what our expectations are, right? So it doesn't change anything. We have, again, every year for us is about trying to take another step forward. But mind you, there's now 29 teams in the league that are also trying to do the same thing. This is no longer a league of 12 teams or 19 teams, of which the Galaxy is the spender of that's different than everybody else. We're in a league with a lot of very ambitious clubs and teams, and some that are ahead of us in terms of making roster decisions and things and have settled their groups in and have come in. No problem. We're in the process of, over the last 2 years, of kind of rehauling and resetting and building our group from inside out and working together as a team in there to build the club inside and out. And we're working through the process. So does Chris put any more pressure? I can tell you every one of our guys wants to win every game all the time. When we don't, it's killer for us and it hurts. And so, we have, again, the utmost respect for Chris. And I know Chris would, if he felt like something was truly right for the club, he would do it. 100% he would do it. And if he feels like that's right, because he cares for all of us and he cares about this organization. And so if he felt like whatever that was, it was the right thing for this club at the right moment, he would do it. I firmly believe that, as I would, as anyone else that I know inside of our building would do, because we're all from this club. Anybody can say anything they want, but this is our club. I'm going on 300, 400 games and representing this club. Nobody can tell me from day one, nobody can tell me they care about this club more than I care about this club, or even Chris, who's been around the club. So we will do anything that we believe is right to help this club get to where it's going to get. But we believe we're on the right path, and we believe that it's not a perfect path. It's not like this. Nothing is in the game. It's going to take ups and downs, and it's going to take setbacks, and it's going to keep working through that. But if you trust the process and you're clear in your vision, and I've been a part of an organization who's done this very thing before, I know what it looks like. We're going to get there. And again, we're going to get there regardless of the noise. We're going to get there.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Jonathan and Sega, where are they?
Sega's back. He's good. Jonathan Bond.
Yeah.
He is back on the field, moving. He's not diving and he's not making a lot of catches in here. So he's still, maybe a couple weeks, few weeks. I don't know exactly, but in that window. Okay. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.